Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Mindset Matters, where we explore the often overlooked world of mental health and athletics, as well as uncovering the unique challenges and triumphs that come with the journey of being an athlete. I am your host, Victoria Vergos, and today we actually have a really exciting topic in which we will be discussing why it's so important to get 1% better every day, or 7% better a week, however you want to look at it, and essentially what you can do to make this happen. To jump right into it, I think we're in a world where we get everything we want and everything we need as fast as we desire. And I know not everything, but some examples I'm referring to include ordering food, shopping online, Google, AI sources like ChatGPT, and all of the satisfactions and things that we want can come within seconds to hours. There was actually this book I read recently, and it stated that there was a study conducted by a computer science professor who found that when it comes to technology, our patience lasts for 2 seconds. And what she means by that is, for example, if a video online or a website doesn't load within 2 seconds, people start leaving the website. And it's so crazy to think about, but it's actually very true. So this fast-paced world discourages us from waiting for a lot, but also when we hear stories about someone becoming an overnight YouTube star or a celebrity, it fuels our desire to get immediate results from whatever we're doing. So where I'm going with this is people nowadays fail to see the actual impact improving by 1% every day really has. We all want everything right now or right in a particular moment, and it's not realistic or ideal. And it enforces a lot of negative emotions and self-doubt and unworthy feelings, because when you don't get what you want in a fast amount of time, it discourages you. This may sound like a different topic altogether, in which a way it is because it has its own and different impacts on society, but it does tie into today's episode. Going forward, we are going to now discuss ways to get better 1% every day and habits and strategies you can implement into your life to do so. So as this being an athlete perspective podcast, the first thing I want to get across is learning about yourself. As an athlete, you should be striving to improve and over time find out what you need in order to better your training and your performance. Think about if this would mean adding more strength to your program or more cardio, even flexibility, things that may not be a strong suit of yours. Focus on something that needs to be improved and focus on that aspect before you jump into the next step. This would involve dedicating your time and effort into either learning or perfecting something related to your sport. So whether through instructional videos, reviewing your own footage, practicing drills, getting feedback, etc. As a boxer, something I always do is I record most of my sparrings, and afterwards I review it and I look for the good and the bad. And whatever's not so good needs to be fixed, and I look for ways to improve it. Getting better as an athlete doesn't always mean killing yourself and overdoing it in training. It also involves setting time aside to think about really where you need to improve and how you can get better, and kind of doing, say, the boring stuff. It really is the little things like this that will separate you as an athlete, because learning about your strong and weak points and learning how to perfect both times will really make a difference. This takes me into the next point of do what makes you different and do what people don't want to do. You may or may have not heard the quote, "Successful people do what unsuccessful people don't want to do." And that right there basically just explains it all, because it's just breaking down that the people who get far do what the majority don't want to do. Very quickly, I'd like to clarify, I am far from where I want to be, and I'm not blowing smoke up my butt by any means, but there are some ways and habits that I find provide the opportunity to grow, get closer to my goals, and allow me to make that 1% difference and improvement into my life daily. So, something I find really important is staying consistent with routines, and especially a morning routine, because this does set the tone for the day and plays into your overall demeanor and attitude for the day. So, it's small but important things such as making your bed, partaking in morning meditation or stretching, reading at least 10 pages or a chapter of a book that adds value and knowledge into your life. Or this could be doing your duties such as completing a run or your morning workout, etc. But I can't emphasize enough all these small but beneficial routines that you do in the morning and actions, they really set a good vibe for the day. The way I spend my time in the mornings is, I've got to say, one of the biggest game changers in my life without a doubt, because it allows me to feel accomplished, completed, and it helps me to focus on the main components and busier parts that I know I'm going to have throughout my day. And I also know that I gave time to myself in the morning and I chose to grow myself and better myself. And if a stable morning routine is something you don't already do, I would say get into it, but it will take time and it's a habit that needs to be formed. I recommend staying consistent with it and you will see the changes. Another quick point to mention as well is eating a healthy diet is not what the majority wants to do or enjoys, but especially as an athlete, you get a reward from it, which is performing better. So it's a temporary sacrifice with long-term results. And that's kind of the whole point of this topic here, is doing what makes you different and doing what people don't want to do are all sacrifices that aren't forever unless you really want them to be, but they give you rewards and separate you from everyone else. Moving on, let's talk about how you talk to yourself. I think something many people underestimate the power of is your thought pattern and how you choose to think about yourself as well as how you talk to yourself. Like the saying, you are what you eat, can also apply to you are what you think. So from an athlete perspective, if you're practicing a skill, or if you're simply just existing and going about your day and you use negative affirmations constantly, you will genuinely begin and maybe already believe it, and this truly does block growth. Like, you wouldn't say mean things or use words or actions that break down someone you love, right? And a quick little side note, the next time you find yourself needing to make a decision about something, or you're looking for advice from yourself, or you're just talking to yourself, I want you to picture or imagine what you would say and how you would say it to your best friend. And it doesn't have to be a best friend, it can be someone you love, like your parents or whatever. And I know constructive criticism exists. That's not something to forget. That's definitely needed, but that's not exactly what I'm getting at. That's a different story. So anyways, there is a flip side, and it really doesn't take long to practice positive affirmations and encouraging self-talk. Say maybe you want to write it down in a journal every day, or put it on your desk or like a mirror where you can see it all the time and there's no escaping it. And kind of tying into my last point, you may find it not being easy at the start, and you probably will catch yourself getting back into that loop of negative self-talk and thoughts, but it's so key to be consistent with it, because I promise times 100 you will see the positive impacts it makes on your life, and you will begin to believe this over the negativity, and you'll start to feel invincible. And this, my friends, in fact does allow for growth, because whether you fail or succeed, you no longer need to rely on someone or feel like you can't talk to yourself the right way. Like, if you make any mistake, you're going to be the first one there to tell yourself not only that it will be okay, but you'll be figuring out how to bounce back and learn from whatever it is without it being in a toxic way or without being a burden on yourself. And I truly believe everyone's biggest enemy and everyone's biggest competitor is themselves. So, learning to make peace with yourself and learning how to talk to yourself, as well as generating a positive and optimistic thought process, allows for growth and it's something that will grow every day. And what I mean by that is over time, you will get better and better at it to a point where it becomes natural. Just like maybe there was a time where talking bad to yourself or negatively thinking was normal. So being an athlete, staying consistent and disciplined in aspects such as recovery, a diet that supports your training, foam rolling, appointments, baths, how often you make it to the gym, strength training, etc., so much is equally as important to how well you take care of yourself mentally and your mental state in the way you talk to yourself on a regular basis. So overall, it really is small gains that equal big wins. And if, as a person and athlete, you can find and adjust a way to improve yourself 1% more every day, being physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, etc., it connects and allows you to see the improvements you've made. Results do take time, and it doesn't make sense to compare yourself to people and unrealistic things that achieve success overnight. So focus on you, don't worry about anyone else, don't be competitive with anyone else, and just put all your energy and devote your time into watching yourself grow and improve and finding more ways how to make that 1% growth every day turn into, say, 2% or 3%. So that's all I have today. I will see you guys all in my next episode, but in the meantime, find something different that you're not used to that you can incorporate in your routine that will allow for a small portion of growth every day.